Hi, I'm Sarah, and this is Yoga for the Hellscape. Class 2, I Shape My World. The shapes that we take with our body can either be looking in, curling inward, being protective, perhaps looking back at something that we've experienced before to work to resolve that, or they can be expansive, reaching out, really interfacing with the world around us. And so today we're exploring a variety of shapes, both standing and on the floor in our bodies, to get a sense of how that feels and how we can use that to expand even further, to create even more deftly and courageously. Okay, so in her TED Talk, Your Body Language May Shape Who You Are, Amy Cuddy talks about research that she and a team at her university did to get a sense of how postures impact the way we think about ourselves and the way that we perform on certain tasks like interviews and things like that, where we're really being evaluated by others. And I will link her TED Talk in the notes or the description for this particular class if you'd like to take a look at that. But one of the things that they found is that yes, even just being expansive for a couple of minutes, literally 2 minutes, helps people to feel more confident and more engaged with the world around them, such that they're successful on interviews a lot more than average. So this class today is about agency and about power. It's about creating. And remember from class 1 that you as the I, create all of this. And I create the feelings, I create the circumstances, and I interact with those things. Okay, so I choose, I believe, I create. All right, and today we're not going to focus on any individual chakras, any individual energy centers, but rather we're going to look at the overall movement of energy throughout the field. So we create that with our breath, with our intention, with visualization, with feeling, and with allowing the energy itself to show you, because there's inherent wisdom in the energies when we back away and trust our bodies and trust those instincts to show us. And so we'll get a sense of some of that today. So the forces of the universe, the yin and the yang, are at play here. The yin is the receiving, the yang is the giving. And so in everything we do and in everything that we are giving and receiving. Okay, so this is constant dance of everything that's going on. And I like to interpret yin even a little bit further, especially for this theme of space. Yin is I take up space. I exist and I am. Okay, and so you can kind of feel that throughout your system. And then the yang, I make space. Okay, so it's an active creation. I create and I invite. All right, and so those two forces will interact in your system, and you'll get a chance to kind of to play with that and to really see, oh, am I trying too hard? Am I doing too much yang here? What can I relax? Where can I let go? And where can I allow for things to happen that I might not have predicted or planned for? So that is exciting. That's what we're gonna get going with here right now. All right, so let's start standing. Find a comfortable place. I will recommend that for this class you have quite a bit of space around you. So you may not want to be inside. You might want to be outside. That's completely fine. But you definitely want to be able to reach kind of fully around you in every direction that you can without bumping into anything. Okay? So we're going to just get started here with simple movements to awaken the system. We're going to start with the head, just nodding yes and then shaking no. So with larger nods, with deeper breath all the way through the system, just beginning here, back. Inhale and exhale there. Good. and up to center, forward with your nod. Relaxing the chin toward the chest. Inhaling and exhaling, letting go of anything that doesn't need to hold right now. Your hands, your shoulders even. And back to center. Let's go back again. Really sigh it out on your exhales. Center, chin to chest. Now your own pace, go one more time. Looking up and back, maybe even seeing the wall behind you or the space behind you. Center and down. Good, now center, chin parallel to the floor. Now we're gonna look to the sides, to each side, and as if we're shaking our head no, all right? But it's a slower pivot. So pick one side and begin to turn and look over that shoulder. Allow your eyes to track as far as they reach behind you. And just start to feel everything melt on that opposite side. Inhaling and exhaling back to center. Look over the other shoulder. Moving slowly. Good, back to center. Let's do it a couple more times. Inhaling and exhaling and watching what happens as you inhale and exhale. How does your body find the shape even further as the breath comes in? And the other shoulder, sigh it out. And one more time each side. Good, back to center. Now we're gonna do some shoulder shrugs, and they're almost like shoulder circles. So go ahead and lift up just to kind of get some range of motion here, just a few times. And then we're gonna make a circle from the back coming forward with our shoulders, okay? And so you can have your hands however you want, maybe even palms facing forward, like an anatomical drawing. But however you have them, you don't wanna have a lot of kind of emphasis there. Your emphasis is in your shoulders, so just whatever is happening with your hands is fine. They're relaxed. All right, so circle toward the front and down. Let's do that several more times. Really reaching back with your shoulders when they're behind you, reaching up and reaching forward. Good. Sighing it out as you go. Great. All right, ending there. You can shake it out a little bit. And we're gonna go the opposite direction, so from front to back this time. All right, again with the hands relaxed, everything else relaxed. Try to relax from the back of your scalp all the way down. Just like allow the shoulders to do the work and to really get warmed up here. So shoulders toward the front, up and back. Keep going with that. Good, make sure you're breathing. You may start to even notice other parts of the body feeling energized and or released a little bit. When we affect one thing, we affect everything. Good, okay. You can shake that out. And in fact, if you're shaking side to side like I am, this is our next little warm up here. So just keep going with this. Allow your knee to kind of follow you as you get larger with your arm swings from side to side. Very light on the feet. All right, and your arms can kind of swing up. Allow them to kind of, as you warm up, come a little higher, and you can feel the spine kind of let go in different places as your arms elevate. All right, and you can get to the point where you're really reaching up with your arm as you reach across. With your breaths nice and deep. Good. All right, and you can let that kind of settle. The next thing we're going to do is a breathing technique, and it's called breath of joy. And in the Sanskrit, that is Ananda Pranavinyasa. And so with the breath of joy, it's a 4-part breath, but no, we can only either breathe in or out or hold our breath, right? Like, so there are only a couple options there. But the 4 parts, 2 of them are inhales and 2 of them are exhales, okay? And so our hands go in sequence with our breaths. And I'll just show you what it looks like, and I'll announce as I'm going, like if it's an inhale or an exhale, so you get kind of the feeling of it and the visual of how it will look for your body. And it can take a little bit of practice to really master it and feel fully immersed in it. But we're gonna start to build that today. And you can do this anytime that you feel a little sluggish, or, you know, first thing in the morning, anytime that you want to invite energy into your system. This is an excellent breath technique. All right, so you can have your feet kind of however you want them. I like mine a little bit wider than hip width for this, just because it feels, for me, a lot more sturdy. But we are gonna have some bends to our knees, and we are gonna have reaches all the way up and out, all right? So we begin with an inhale up, exhale out. Inhale up, and then exhale, we're gonna fold at the waist and allow our hands to kind of come behind us, okay? So at speed, it looks like, and the breaths are loud. They should be, they can even have sound to them from the throat. If you want, especially those exhales, they can really dig in and allow you to expel stagnation from the body in all forms. And I'll show you when you're at the 4th leg, like when you're bending here, what you want to do, you don't want to just like hunch over and plat. You want your spine to stay straight, and you want to be energized through your glutes and your hamstrings, okay? So you're here, 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 and then, and you keep everything very nice and taut through here, and you're getting, you're waking up this part of the body as well and strengthening it all together. So it's very nice. All right, so let's try that together. We'll start kind of slow. So inhale up, exhale out, up, let it go. Up, out, exhale, inhale up, let it go. All right, up, out, inhale, let it go. All right, a little faster. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, let it go. Inhale, exhale, inhale, let it go. Inhale, exhale, inhale, let it go. And you can really kind of look up and even back on your inhales, right? As you get more comfortable with it, that gets some other stretch to your spine. Inhale, let it go. Let's do 3 or 4 more of those. Let it go. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, let it go. Okay, good. And just come back to standing. Just allow all that to settle. The next thing that we're going to do is some standing lunges. And these are a lot like we did lunges in class 1 if you took that. The lunges that we did for that were on our knees, but it's the same idea and the same framework of the rest of the body. So you're gonna step forward with one foot, it doesn't matter which. Your feet are parallel to each other and your toes are all pointing forward, okay? So for this, and you can kind of play with what length that you need. I just noticed I need to step out a little more, so you can play with that. The idea is to be sturdy here in the middle and to be able to drop the back knee and allow the front knee to just kind of bend, all right? So when you drop the back knee, the front knee has to bend. So that's the action that you're thinking of, and you're just gonna be here and doing a few of these, all right? So just to kind of warm up that lower body, You're gonna be gathering the musculature here in, kind of squeezing the glutes and the inner thighs, so to speak. Like it's, the movement is kind of like in and around, so you can kind of feel how that wraps together as you drop that knee in the back. And just allow that to keep going with your breath. Your hands can be anywhere for this. A lot of times, like, I like to touch my body if I'm worried I'm not gonna have great balance. So wide hands somewhere on the body, on the lower body for this is great. Also, if you hold your hands in this like prayer looking position, that also kind of brings the energies toward the center and creates some better balance. All right, so a few more of those. Great. All right, and then switch legs. Without a rest, we're just gonna keep going. Remember, toes all forward and drop the back knee. All right, and you can play with your hands again on this. If you want more of a challenge, you can have them up, all right? But however you have them, your focus is actually not on the hands at all, but they can help you to focus on that lower body. You may be feeling warmer, maybe feeling winded. That's all great. All right, you can stop there, shake it out. We're gonna add something to that lunge. We're gonna add a twist with it, and we're gonna be at the bottom when we add the twist. So going back to whichever arrangement you had first, whichever foot was in the back, go ahead and drop the knee, and then I want you to raise your hands like in a V, and then twist to the opposite side of the back knee, okay? So twist toward the front leg, and you can bring the hands down, and then back up and down. And you're just holding this lower body here, no movement there. This is a real twist through the spine. You can keep your chin parallel and look back with your eyes. So we do more of these, building heat in the lower body and flexibility in the spine. All right, 2 more. Really twisting, looking. Good, and then back to center. Let that go, you can shake that out. We're gonna do the other side. And you can, I'll just remind you, since this is a video and it might be obvious, but you can pause at any point if you need to get water, catch your breath, that sort of thing. I know that these postures are creating a lot of endurance, but they also can be kind of a lot to take on, you know, all at once. Even myself, like I'm running low on breath at certain points. And so that's kind of a good indication to me that you might be doing that too. And that's great. Don't leave it all together, come back, but take breaks where you need them. That's one of the beauties of being able to practice yoga at home. Okay, so with the other leg behind, drop that back knee, hands up, good, and then twist. Inhale up, exhale twist. Up and twist. And one more, twist. Very good, you can step together. Perfect. I'm gonna do what I said and get a sip of water. All right, in our last warm-up, and you'll notice the reason we're doing these warm-ups is they correspond to postures that we're gonna get into here in just a little bit. And so we need those parts of the body especially to be nice and warm, nice and limber and ready. All right, the last posture we're gonna do is 2 postures, and it's a star and a goddess posture, and they are kind of working in tandem. All right, so a star is what you might imagine. It looks like a star shape, okay? So it's like a 5-point star with the head, the arms, and the feet. All right, so this is star pose. And it might look like nothing's going on, but in fact, a lot is, all right? So the way that it's built is with the feet splayed out a little bit. It's between, like on a clock, if you're looking at a clock, it's between a 2 and a 3 over here and a 9 and a 10 over here, okay? So it's not exactly like on a place, but it's a little further out than like a 45-degree angle. All right, so from here, you build your star, you kind of pull in from the center of your body. There are locks in the body that we can use in yoga to build energy, to create space, to do a lot of different things. And so we're gonna do one here in the center of the body. And the lock is just an energetic and also like supported by the muscles place where you say, okay, I'm going to dig in here, and the motion is to pull in and up, okay? And it's a tiny movement, but it's very fierce once it starts to build and the energy around it kind of supports it and allows you to do more in your postures. Okay, so we're gonna go in and up here. This is called Uddiyana Bandha if you want to look it up somewhere. This is the lock here at kind of the solar plexus. So we're gonna lock that up. We're gonna have our hands in the air, fingers really splayed out, just allowing energy to come, not just from the fingers, but all the way out of the wrists and so forth as well. So bright shining star. You can look up a tiny bit, like chin a little beyond, parallel to the floor, just looking up, breathing here. And just feeling what's happening in your body. Where are you holding? Where do you need to be holding? Where could you maybe let go? Good, and you can let your star go just for a second. You can feel how powerful that is. All right, we're gonna go back to that. And from star, we're gonna go into a goddess, which is, that's where it's important that our feet are kind of at that between 2 and 3 and 9 and 10 position. The bottom part of goddess is just, you are going to sit down. You're not sitting back, like rocking back like this. You are sitting as far down as you can, okay? And your knees are coming out over your feet, all right? So they need to, as far as possible, if you've got a lot of tension through here, it might be harder to do. It is for me. But you should, in your mind, know, okay, my knees need to be tracking exactly over my toes, and I'm working toward that, and I'm, making emphasis toward that every time I get into this posture, okay? So your spine's gonna stay nice and straight. You can allow your knees to just come out, and you're allowing your pelvis to just sit down. And you can hold here. Remember how I said if you keep your hands together, you got a lot of good balance. Or you can, a lot of times traditionally, goddess has arms kind of out like this. And palms just facing forward, breathing. Okay, good, holding that. This definitely builds a lot of heat. All right, good, you can let that go. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna be star and then goddess, star, goddess. So we'll do several of those to just continue to warm things up. And we'll start now. Wow, okay. Up and exhale. Inhale up, exhale goddess. Inhale up, exhale goddess. Inhale up, exhale goddess. Let's do 2 more. Good. All right, excellent. You can shake all that out. That was our warm up. The postures themselves might seem a lot more easy than our warm-up today, but it's really important to get everything kind of flowing and ready so that we protect everything in our bodies. Okay, good. Our first posture is mountain pose. And so we were in a lot of these, just as I was talking, kind of in between postures, we were kind of in mountain a lot, whether we knew it or not. But now we're gonna build it with a lot more intention. So I'd like your feet, all the toes facing forward, hips distance apart, and your hips are not way out, your hips are here. So down below that, you can kind of measure. If you take two fists, like you make fists, and you just bring them down and measure between your feet, it's about, that fits between the balls of your feet, and you're at the right distance. All right, so building there, allowing the arches of your feet to lift up and the heels and toes to relax. So you're energetically engaged there. Allowing a slight bend in the knees so that they're not hyperextended, just a tiny bit. And then hips stacked on that. Thighs are spiraling kind of outward again, creating a nice sturdy base. Your hands can be in anatomical position, just kind of relaxed from the shoulders. Calming yourself. If you feel a little floaty or just kind of wobbly, you can make fists with your hands, like wrap your thumbs inside. That's a grounding technique and it helps a lot so you will not sway around if you need that. But otherwise, here we are. This is Tadasana Mountain Pose. We'll be coming back to this pose between asanas a lot in this series. Okay, good. So the first, we're gonna do some warrior poses. And these are really nice shapes. These are Virabhadrasanas. We're gonna do, there are 5 altogether in yoga. We're doing 4 of them today. And we're just kind of learning these and getting them kind of into our systems. And we'll be able to use in future classes these in all kinds of other ways as we build different series and, you know, just different ways to explore the themes and really allow energy to show us more in our bodies. So the first one is Warrior 1, and the reason the lunges were important was to warm up for this. What you're gonna do from mountain, let me get my feet in the frame. From mountain, you're gonna step back with one foot, it doesn't matter which. But instead of the way that we were kind of side by side on parallels with all the toes facing forward for lunges, this time you're gonna 45-degree angle that back foot out. All right, and so you can feel that in your body, just create a nice, steadier frame for anything that we're about to do with this, okay? So your whole foot is on the floor, and actually you can kind of roll the foot just a tiny bit back onto the edge of it, that back foot, and that will help a little more with stability and with engagement of the correct muscles. All right, so you're there, and your front leg is starting to bend a little just from being in that posture, and you're gonna bend all the way into that knee. All right, allowing it to track right over top of the toes, and allowing the back leg and front leg to internally be squeezing a bit toward each other. Okay, so really engage those inner thighs and engage this Uddiyana Bandha here again, and then we're with arms up. Okay, so similar to how we were when we did the twisting lunges, this is a lot like that. All right, but we want to keep everything nice and still here and allow everything to build within the posture. So palms are facing each other, shoulders are relaxed. You're just sinking in here. All right, that's Virabhadrasana 1, that is warrior 1. All right, from here on the same side, we're gonna make a slight movement, and it's mostly with our hand, but we're gonna bring them from here to here. All right, so the same hand as the bent forward leg, that one is coming in front of you. Okay, like you're looking out over the horizon. And then the back one, here's the side view, the back one is behind you. And your foot, your back foot needs to step out like a little bit more, maybe the length of a foot for you, but you need a slightly wider stance for this warrior 2 than you had in warrior 1. All right, so you're here. And you're looking over that front hand, and you're just breathing. Again, inner thighs are squeezing together. You're up and out of your waist. And your shoulders, neck, face, all of that is relaxed. Good. Now, the next warrior, from here, we're going to take this back arm, put it down, and this front arm, bring it like you're looking into a mirror, like facing your palm, and you're here. Legs are the same. This is reverse warrior. You can feel a side body stretch on that front side. Good, come back to 2. And come back to mountain. All right, you can shake that out. Do any other movements that you need. We're gonna do the other side now. So remember, we'll start with mountain. We'll step back to warrior 1, which is not quite all the way huge stance, but it is at the 45-degree angle. Arms are up and sink into that front knee. And Virabhadrasana 1. All right, and for 2, the body twists a little bit. The front hand comes forward. The back hand goes behind you. And the back foot sneaks out just like about a foot. And then you're in a nice, sturdy Virabhadrasana 2. Make sure that your pelvis is underneath you and not way out here. Sometimes as we're learning, you know, it's just whatever we can get in and stick, but you want to kind of build really good habits from the beginning so you don't have to do any posture corrections down the line. So squeezing in with the legs. Good, now for reverse, remember, drop the back arm down, touching your leg, front arm coming up, palm facing you, sinking in. Nice deep breaths, filling the lungs. And back to 2, and back to mountain. Good, very good. The next one we're going to do, we're going to build from 2 again. So back to the side that you were using before. And I'm going to build it sideways so that you can see what happens here. But basically, remember 2 is here. All right. And I'm going to show you this side view. Okay, you haven't seen a behind me side view yet. 2 is here. And then this one is called humble warrior. Okay, and so for humble warrior, when you're humble, you really are kind of turning inwards. You're getting low, you're bowing perhaps. That's kind of the idea in this pose. So you're here with 2, and you're going to, before you bow, you're going to clasp your hands behind you as well as you can. You can do your elbow, you can clasp your elbows, whatever you want. But in general, start with clasping your hands, and then you're going to bring your torso kind of out and over that front leg and just bow, okay? And your hands can be reaching up, energetic. All right, and again, between the legs, really having, like, drawing them together. If you want to use, if your hands aren't clasped and you want to do this, and you want to get close to being able to clasp, I would recommend either using a strap or a belt, and you don't need much length, so even like a kid's belt will be fine, I think. But here it is with the strap. If you're into, you're gonna just grab with your palms facing out like this, trying to get them as close together as possible, because you know you're working toward that. But a lot of people sometimes have more muscles through here and it's harder to grip. That's fine, but you're working toward it and you will get it as long as you're, you know, making strides toward it. So pulling toward each other, like make it as taut as you can, and then you're gonna come out, bend, let go of the head, and bring the arms up. Okay, perfect. Now, if you're having trouble with balance or you're nowhere close to your hands getting together and you're not even worried about that, like you just want to kind of get a feel for the shape and what you're working toward, I would recommend a block or something sturdy on the floor. And same thing, you're not here, but you like your hands, it doesn't matter with this. But it's nice if you bring them to kind of frame this front foot and you bring your torso around, that's still giving you the major shape of the posture, which is torso over, front leg, bowing. Okay, so you can play with that on your own. We'll do the other side now. So starting in Virabhadrasana 2, reach around, grab if you want, or use your block in front of you. Really just hold here for a minute. And then on an inhale, reach forward with your chest, drop the torso over that front leg, bring the hands up, and let go of the neck. Inner thighs squeezing together. Good, and then back up and let that go. Good, that's Baddha Virabhadrasana, Humble Warrior. All right, so this is 4 of the 5 warriors, which is exciting to know and to begin to practice. Now we're gonna do one called Prasarita Padottanasana. It is a forward fold, and it's one, I'll admit, mine is not a good example to look at. Like, it's not a pretty one. It's, you know, but that's okay. I like to do the ones that I'm not as good at doing because, you know, we got to all work toward getting good at them. But also I think that it kind of keeps me humble, it keeps me working, like, to know there's still a lot to do. So if you want to look this one up online and see some examples of bodies that are, you know, more agile and experienced at doing it, please do that, because you'll see all that it can be and you'll be able to kind of work toward that. But for me, my fold is not flat, but you'll see what it is. So this is a wide leg forward fold, and it has a few things that you can do with your hands. So I'll walk you through kind of the basics, but you will bring your feet wider than hips distance, okay, quite a bit of distance between them. And I'm not telling you 2 feet or whatever, because everybody's body is a little bit different, but bring them out to a place that you feel comfortable. And if you need to go wider as you go down, like, you will, just your body will naturally kind of go toward that, and I want you to do that and to read more of your body than my instructions. So to do this posture, you're going to bring in that bandha again, that Uddiyana bandha, in and up to kind of lock, and you're going to fold at the waist and just allow the top of your head to come toward the floor. All right, and the side view looks like this. This is really important to have engaged and locked, and then this can just let go. All right, but your spine, as you bend, it stays nice and straight. Now, you can always use a block for this if you're not near the floor. that's great. You can get your head on a block, maybe. I can't, but you may be able to have your head on the block resting. You can, I like to grab the sides of my feet and bend my knees a little bit and pull. And I'm not so much pulling with my arms, but actually with my legs. So by allowing my legs to lengthen from those bent knees, that is getting the stretch that we want. And I'm rolling only a tiny bit, but rolling toward my toes. So the weight is off my heels and off my fingertips. All right, and head is relaxed. And this is how mine looks right now. Ideally, the spine would be super straight and the head would be on the floor. Even like sometimes you can get your arms to walk back behind your body. So those are always things to work toward. There's always, I believe, somewhere further we can go with our postures, which is nice. So that is one of those. Let's do another one, but with a toe hold instead of grabbing the sides of your feet if you're doing that. So to do a nice toe hold, you're gonna you'll be on your big toe. You're gonna take 2 fingers and just wrap around between the big and second toe and pull there. And the pull will be kind of the same. Like you'll start with your knees bent and then you'll be straightening them. All right, so here we go. Again, lock, bend, inhaling, exhaling, toe holds around the big toes, allowing the head to let go, straightening the legs. You can even bend the elbows a little and pull closer to get more stretch in the hamstrings. That's ideal. But wherever you are, just allow yourself to let go here. This is very restorative with the head beneath the heart. And it's very looking inward. All right, great. And then you can kind of climb back up. Let that go. Good. The last 2 that we're going to do are just longer holds, the last 2 standing. Longer holds of star, which is Utthita Tadasana, and goddess, which is Utthita Konasana. All right, I'll keep practicing the Sanskrit. But remember the star, toes out between 2 and 3 and 9 and 10. Looking up and feel your star now. Like, do you feel stronger? Do you feel more powerful? Do you feel more capable? Here we are, like 40 minutes into the class. Like, how is your star right now? Good. You may even close your eyes in your star if you feel nice and safe to do so. Just see if you see anything, if your star shows you anything. Good, and now we'll just come back to center and drop to goddess. All right. Let the pelvis go beneath you. And same kind of questions for goddess. How do you feel here now? Good, and you can let that go. We're ready for some postures on the floor. We're just doing a few more. The first one, remember with our shapes, these are expansive, but on the floor. So there are little back bends. And if you are on carpet or without a mat, you can use a towel or something beneath you because your face will be touching your floor surface. So go ahead, for the first one, you're gonna be lying face down. So however you like to get there, get there. This is Bhujangasana, it's cobra pose. And we're making a shape like a cobra snake that pulls its upper body up. All right, so start with your chin down and your palms right beneath your shoulders. your palms are going to be drawing kind of back down the body like this. And your elbows are going to be squeezing in. So start here, and then your legs are super straight, toes pointed. Everything in the legs engaging inward. Letting go of the belly. And then go ahead and draw back with your hands, lifting up. Chin parallel to the floor if possible. And then chin can come up even higher if that feels comfortable. Head can drop back a little. Remember, keeping the elbows squeezed in. And then let that go. You can wiggle it out. You might feel decompression as you wiggle it out. That's a good thing because we just compressed it by back bending. So just allow that to happen. All right, again, drawing back with the palms, squeezing the lower body. Exhale, lift up, chin up, breathing, and let go. Let's do one more of those. Palms under the shoulders. Elbows squeezing in. Drawing the palms down. Lift up. See if you can get more height. Little sips of air. And let go. You can wiggle all of that out. Stay exactly right here. We're going to do Dhanurasana, which is bow pose. We're going to make a shape like we're holding like something behind us. But in fact, I think this looks like a teardrop shape when the body is fully engaged in it. So what you're going to do is you're going to reach back and grab each of your feet, if you can reach, with a hand, and you're going to put the palm of the hand right in the crease, kind of where the leg meets the foot. All right, so right at that ankle area on both sides. All right, and you're going to bring your knees together, allowing yourself to just be pulled back like that. Now again, this is a good one for a strap or a belt if you have that, if you're not reaching your feet. Or you might just want to use a belt or a strap anyway, even if you can reach your feet. It just gives a different experience, which is great. So if you do decide to use a strap, you're going to put it under your feet, kind of right about at that ankle area, and you're going to get back into your posture on the floor. And you're going to pull, I didn't do that very well, but you're going to pull it up. And there is a lot, I mean, you see how much I'm wrangling around with it, right? Like there's a lot to kind of have in place to be able to pull it. But once you are there ready, it should be nice and tight. And you should be able to hold it with both hands, knees pressing inwards, and just kick up. All right, so that is the version with this strap, kicking up. And this is the version with the feet kicking up. All right, so whichever one you want. I'm not very skilled with the strap in terms of that, but there are ways to kind of practice with that if that's something you would like and you're working toward. But for me and my body, I feel most safe to be physically holding my feet. So we're gonna go with that. Start again, face down on the floor with your grip. You're going to inhale, exhale, kick up, and just allow your upper body to follow. Chin up. The kick is driving the shape and the entire experience in the posture. All right, and so you're kicking all the way from the glutes you can let that go. And we'll do one more of those. Either gripping your strap or gripping your feet by the ankles. Exhale. Inhale up. Kicking. This is a great yin and yang. There's a kick, but there's also a letting go. And both need to happen in order to find success here. So let that go and come back to the floor. Great, the next posture we're doing is on the floor. So just flip all the way over with your body. And this is called bridge pose. Again, we're still on these very nice shapes. Bridge pose is can be a very restorative posture, but you can also kind of build new forms of strength in the lower body. So you'll be on your back, you'll walk your heels toward your butt, and then you're just gonna press your butt into the air. Okay, there's not a whole lot to do here. You're not moving your neck or your spine. Everything's just kind of nice and aligned, and your feet are doing work, your glutes are doing work, your inner thighs are doing work here, and you're just breathing. Your hands can be anywhere. Good, and you can come down. I'm going to show you two variations that you might want to practice either now or later. The next one is with a block in between your knees. If you want to build more strength, or perhaps just to warm up in some way, it's good to have the block there because it allows you to grip a lot more emphatically. And so we're going to do that. Just press up while you're pressing your knees toward the block to hold it there. Same sort of movement, but with a lot more engagement. You can hold that there. Good, and come down. And the last one I'll show you with this, asana, this bridge pose, is a restorative posture where you're not really working much with your legs except to just hold yourself from toppling over. But we're going to put the block underneath the sacrum. All right, and you can have your block like this. You can have your block on the side. If you have a tiny sacrum, you could have like a high version of block, but which would be like this. I really can't do that, but yes, so you want to be resting there in a sturdy way, and your legs are in the same shape, and your feet are doing a little bit of work just to hold you there, but mostly you're relaxing. And for very receptive postures like this where you are just sinking and relaxing, I like my palms to be up because they're showing receptivity, and energetically they're kind of indicating that I'm letting go and I'm just letting my body be as it is and receive benefits here. All right. Good, so wherever you are with your bridges, come down. You can kind of wiggle that out. Our next two postures are the very last ones of this class. They're repeats from class 1. So if you took class 1, they'll look familiar. What you'll do from here is just drop one of your legs down and keep the other one bent, and then bring the bent leg over the lengthened leg and make a T with your arms and look back towards your back arm. And this is Ardha Matsyendrasana. Spinal twist on the floor. Half spinal twist. Ardha means half. All right, good. So back to center, same thing, but with the other side. And then looking back toward the other arm. Really starting to slow down and let go here. And our final posture on the floor, you may have guessed it, is shavasana, which is corpse pose. It's a chance to just really let go of your practice, of your thoughts about your practice, about anything you didn't do or want to do next or anything like that. Just allow those thoughts to go. Allow them to leave your head, your body, your entire being. You may close your eyes or just have a soft gaze. Relax the tongue from the top of the mouth. Letting go of language processing. Sinking in here. You're welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you like. I'll leave you with these notes. As you leave this class, these postures, and the feelings they have created, know that you shape this world. Watch for evidence of this as you go from here. Revisit the shapes and your beliefs about them if you ever feel like you are not effectively conveying all that you are. Make the shapes and let them make the magic. Our shapes don't always have to be huge and full of felt power to be effective. Amy Cuddy says as she's wrapping up her TED Talk, tiny tweaks lead to big changes. So be open to this, be creative in this, and be dazzled by all that you do as you do you. Namaste.